Welcome in to Texans Today, everybody. I'm Jeremy Chuggs. Obviously not in my normal studio. I'm at my brother's house in Colorado. Got a nice little drop back for y'all for this video. But I wanted to just make a quick video. A lot of stuff going around, a lot of news, rumors that I got to break down on today's show. And even though I'm on vacation, I was like, you know what? We're not doing anything for a little bit, so let me make a quick video. Let me make a quick video for Texans fans, because I've been seeing this rumor around Noah Fant since he got released by the Seattle Seahawks just yesterday. He was released. Obviously, the Seahawks drafted a tight end in round 2, Elijah Arroyo, out of Miami. So they felt, we don't need to keep Noah Fant on this roster. A good pass-catching tight end. And a lot of people immediately gravitated to the Houston Texans because Dalton Schultz has not played very well. New OC Nick Caley, he's a tight end guy. He was a tight end coach for the Patriots. He was a tight end coach for the Rams. So does the fit make sense? I mean, in theory, yes, you could go out and get Noah Fant and add him to this roster, just sign him to a deal. The Texans, I believe, last time I checked, had a little over $11 million in cap space available. I don't think Noah Fant's going to garner a ton in free agency, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal for $5, $6, $7 million a year would be my guesstimate, but you never know. Teams could definitely overpay. I think this all comes down to how this team feels about some of their younger guys behind Dalton Schultz. Do they like Cade Stover, second-year guy out of Ohio State? Showed some promise last year, but obviously rookie year, some acclimating to the NFL. And then Brevin Jordan was injured last year, has had a lot of hype around him last offseason, even this offseason. How do they feel about Brevin Jordan? Because they re-signed him even after he got injured. He was injured, was out for the rest of the year. The Texans went ahead and re-signed him to another 1 year deal for him to come back this season. Do the Texans like what they have already? They also drafted Luke Lachey in the 7th round out of Iowa. Do they feel the need to go get a tight end like Noah Fant? I think it would add something to this offense. He's definitely, a veteran in this league, has, played for multiple teams, played with the Broncos, played with the Seahawks. And like I said, his number one ability is his pass-catching ability. Noah Fant's a really good pass-catching tight end. Do the Texans say, hey, we're down to do that? Let me know down in the comment section, do you think the Texans should sign Noah Fant? Give me a yes, give me a no. I'm on the fence. I mean, if it's cheap, I would be okay with doing it, like adding another tight end to the room. Then I think that either pushes out Luke Lachey or Brevin Jordan. I hope it's not Brevin Jordan. I would hope it would be Luke Lachey, the 7th rounder out of Iowa. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below, though. All right, let's go to the next order of business. WIll LEvis out for the year with surgery, and not a huge deal with WIll LEvis being injured for the Titans, because obviously they selected Cam Ward with the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. So I don't think they are, too upset about this. There was a quarterback battle, but I don't think WIll LEvis was going to beat out Cam Ward to be the starter week 1 for the Tennessee Titans. It does, hurt their quarterback depth. Maybe they look to add another quarterback either in free agency or, off the waiver wire, or, through some means add another guy to that QB room. But this all but ensures Cam Ward is the starter for this year. He is going to be the guy for Tennessee, as my sister-in-law opens the door to let the dog out. Hi, Michelle. But yeah, Cam Ward, he's the guy now in Tennessee. So not a huge surprise. I have been picking, and Texans fans, don't get mad at me, the Titans to be the team that surprises a lot of people in the AFC South to basically challenge the Houston Texans. The Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously, they have a lot of talent. They have Trevor Lawrence, who the jury's still out on. The Colts, looks like Daniel Jones might be the starter. I honestly do think out of all the teams, the Titans could be the one. Even though they had the number 1 pick, we've seen what teams can do when they have a good quarterback. And I think Cam Ward's a good quarterback. We've seen teams like the Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels, the Texans with CJ Stroud, have a top pick, get a good quarterback, get a new regime change, and kind of mix things up and change things up, I think with the Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward coming in there, and, they have a good defensive line. They have maybe one of the best, sneaky good defensive tackle duos in Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat. The Titans could be a team that we have to look out for. Now, I'm going to get into ESPN's projections for the Texans starting lineups, which they're laughable. They're absolutely laughable, but hey, I'm on my vacation, like I said. This is why you hit that subscribe button, bringing you Texans videos no matter where, no matter when. I got y'all covered. Beautiful backdrop of Denver, Colorado behind me. Nice little scenic backdrop. You don't get this on other channels. You just don't get this on other channels. That's why you got to hit that subscribe button. Join the over 31,000 people who've already hit that sub button to Texans Today. It's 100% free, and my promise to you is always this. Give me a week. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe, but let me prove to you why this is the #1 Texans channel here on YouTube. All right, let's get into these projections by ESPN. And before I get into projections, funny enough, they, talked about, X factors, biggest strength, biggest weakness. Biggest strength, they said the edge rushers. Okay, yeah, cool. They said it was either them or the cornerback room. Biggest weakness, defensive tackles, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with at all. Tim Settle was really good last year. They said he would be a weakness. Foley Fudakasi was good last year whenever he wasn't injured. He's a good nose tackle type of defender. We signed Sheldon Rankins. You have Danico Autry, which I'll get more into him in a second. But I don't believe the defensive tackle room, you can tell me with a straight face that's the weakest room. I think it's easily the offensive line, the offensive tackles, maybe the interior, wherever on the offensive line. That's the biggest weakness right now. It's not a secret. All Texans fans know. It's the offensive line. We got to figure that out. We got to see what we have, and we got to really hope that Cole Popovich, the new O-line coach, can get a lot of these new guys, and maybe some of these signings can work out, like a Cam Robinson, a Laken Tomlinson, Jake Andrews, who we claimed off waivers from the New England Patriots. Can these guys show out, or can the young guys who played last year get better and progress? Can Blake Fisher be better? Can Juice Scruggs or Jarrett Patterson be better? Titus Howard, can he be good at the guard spot? Which gets me into the projections. We'll start on the offensive side. They have quarterback C.J. Stroud. Okay. Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb as the 2 running backs. Makes a lot of sense. Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, wide receivers. All good there. Tight end, Dalton Schultz. Offensive line. This is where it gets weird. They have Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, Jarrett Patterson starting at center, Juice Scruggs starting at guard, and Titus Howard starting at right tackle. Have they not followed this team for the past 2 months? Titus Howard's been getting all the reps at guard. What? Did the person just go on Madden and copy the Madden starting lineup? Because I think from what I've heard, what I've been told, if you've been following Texans Today, if you've been following any of the content creators or beat writers for the Houston Texans, Aaron Wilson, any of the guys out there that follow this team on a day-to-day basis, Titus Howard playing tackle seems to be a worst-case scenario situation. I think they want him to play the right guard spot. Blake Fisher or Ariante Ursery play the right tackle spot, or maybe even Trent Brown once he's healthy. But from all indications, they want Titus Howard to play guard. So whoever made this article, whoever contributed to this projected lineup, obviously does not watch the Texans. Is not obviously not a follower of the Houston Texans, and it follows on the defensive side because this might even be more egregious. They have Tim Settle, Sheldon Rankins at the defensive tackles. Okay, fine. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr. at edge rushers. Linebacking room. They have Azeez Al-Shire, Henry Toto. You know who they have the third linebacker? They have Danico Autry at linebacker. What? That makes no sense. He's a defensive tackle. Why would you have it? Like, the person who made this list, this was we need an article by midnight tonight, and they started at like 8 o'clock, and they rushed through this article, obviously, because it is a hard read, and if you're not somebody who knows ball, you're probably reading this and be like, oh, cool, like ESPN projections. If you follow the Houston Texans, if you're subscribed to this channel, or if you know ball, you probably saw this list and were like, what in the world is ESPN doing? What in the worldwide sports is ESPN thinking about for the Houston Texans? Danico Autry at linebacker? How does that make any sense? That makes no sense at all. The rest of the list, pretty normal from there on, even though they list Jalen Petrie as a cornerback. I'd maybe list him more as the nickelback, but that's, splitting hairs. They have Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and Jimmy Ward. So the rest of the list is fine, but this is why you got to hit that subscribe button, because ESPN, they're on something. They don't know what they're talking about, and I got you covered here on Texans Today. That's all I got for you on today's video. One more time, enjoy the nice scenery, nice Colorado mountains. I will be back on Wednesday. Maybe I'll finish my trip tomorrow. I'll probably maybe bring you a video tomorrow depending on what's going down, but I got you covered. I'm going back into the studios on Wednesday, but until then, hit me up on Twitter at Jeremy Chuggs, and make sure you hit that subscribe button.